Although it's been on the dry side in Pennsylvania the last 2 months, this is the time of year when, if it rains, it can really pour. So I thought I'd take a look at the climatology of heavy rain days in the state. Now, the threshold for how much precipitation has to fall in a day to qualify is somewhat arbitrary, but in Pennsylvania, 2 inches of liquid precipitation in one day makes a lot of sense. And so here's the total number of days that have met that threshold at 10 places across the state since 1948. So it's a robust 75-year history. Notice the big difference from east to west. 143 in Philadelphia, but only 46 such days in Pittsburgh. The difference mainly explained by proximity to the ocean and also more tropical remnants in the east. Now, if we convert these numbers to days per year, basically we'll divide by 75. We see that in the eastern part of the state, 1 or 2 heavy rain days annually is average, but in the west, you might get such a day only once every 2 years or so. Now let's look at how these heavy rain days are distributed by month. This is Philadelphia, which has the most of the 10 places we're looking at. July, August, and September have similar numbers, with June not all that far behind. The relatively high fraction in August and September is related to the remnants of tropical systems. For example, Ida in 2021. Now let's jump across the state to western Pennsylvania, take a look at Pittsburgh. The total number there is much lower, and the pattern is a bit different. The peak is in June, with a smaller fraction in August and September than what we saw in Philadelphia, largely because you get fewer tropical systems this far inland. Having said that, the tropical connection is in the data. Here's the largest daily rainfall in the last 75 years at each place. And 8 of the 10 numbers you see here came from the remnants of a tropical system. For example, Harrisburg and Williamsport, that's Agnes in 1972. Pittsburgh and State College, that's Ivan in 2004. Erie, Frederick in 1979. Scranton from Gloria in 1985. Now, on these heavy rain days, the Weather Service often issues flash flood warnings. And here are the 10 counties with the most flash flood warnings over the last 25 years. So why these counties? Well, we already know that heavy rain days are most common in the southeast, but Pittsburgh had the least heavy rain days, and it's in Allegheny County, which has lots of flash flood warnings. Part of the explanation is that most of these counties are very populated. The circles here mean it's one of the 15 most populous counties in the state. High population means lots of urbanization, which increases runoff and the risk of flash flooding. Now, on the flip side, here are the 10 counties with the least flash flood warnings in the last 25 years. Why so few? Well, most of these counties have less heavy rain days to start, but they're also generally not very populated. In fact, here the circles mean the county is one of the 15 least populous and thus least urbanized and less inclined to flash flood. So far, 2022 has been a quiet year for flash flood warnings in Pennsylvania. Only 19 of the 67 counties have had such a warning this year, and 14 of those 19 have had only one, largely because the last 2 months have been so dry. Stay tuned. Our extended forecast is next.